faith in the play of the Cyber Geese. But I feel like this draft here, you know, one move obviously no slouches. They just came from the upper bracket, so they've obviously got those winning ways in their back pocket.
Sure, but they only had to win one series, right? Like, it's
True.
not like it was a long way coming through, and it was a 2-1 against Amiga as well. So it's yeah, not a guarantee that they're going to continue those winning ways that you're talking about. And it did end up being like what we were talking about, right? Eyesight playing the DK. So most of the time that we've seen DK so far, these qualifiers, it's been played in that mid lane. And this is what I was talking about with one of the strengths of having that second pick, is that they were able to decide, you know, they were trying to keep it flexible. They were trying to be a little bit sneaky on the Cyber Goose side, but they just said, all right, well, DK's going wherever Pango's going. And well, that didn't end up actually being the case, considering the last minute switch from Noticed, but it's still not exactly an easy lane to have Pango laning into the Lina either. In terms of the game, in terms of the early skirmishes, once you've got ulti up, sure, you know, Pango's going to have a great time against the Lina, just rolling in on top of her and taking her out, but it's going to require, like, I don't see them being able to engage without Pango and DP ultis. Like, you're going to need both of them to be able to either kill Lina or get an objective.
Let's see if that's what does pan out. So I've spent the first, you know, 40 seconds trying to look at this Shadow Demon Immortal. That's on Solo's back. It's a mean Immortal. I've never seen it before. Maybe I'm just stupid, but I've seen it before in my life. So I'm excited. Big cosmetics guy, as you guys could tell.
The battle begins.
You don't have the original.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't have a small house deposit to spend on some Dota 2 items, but difference. We'll lose his life here. So this is the power of the Shadow Demon Disruption. You're able to set up quite easily with a lot of these other different stuns.
I'm not really sure why Alina's walking out like that when you didn't have any information about where the enemy team was, and you had a Centaur there as well, who, yeah, early on doesn't exactly have the most armor to be able to play around with, but still certainly a lot beefier to be able to play around with. So that's exactly the start that Cyber Goose were looking for. You know, just give them some free net worth to essentially contest this Lina in, because there aren't many lanes that do well against a Lina. Like TA and maybe Sniper are about it.
It's all about just trying to get that farm here for Chiro Jr., trying to make sure that he doesn't get gapped, as the kids would say.
A diff. Think about like what other sorts of things need to happen in some of these side lanes as well. Like Solo, his positioning should always be relatively solid, right? As soon as he sees Corrupted moving in, he's just going to disrupt him, and then that'll give him the time to be able to break away from any sort of brambles and be able to get back to safety. Should be playing a fairly passive game. The thing is though, like, yes, I guess Pango will be able to take some of the stacks that he eventually does start to build up, but not a bad one. Like, this is a very, very slow-ish game that TA2000 will be playing. And a lot of the time, he does, you know, still wait until, there we go, wound up the stomp there, but ends up getting a range creep denied for his troubles. He can be a little bit passive on, like, you know, his Deucer or his Terrorblade that he's been playing, but at least those push a little bit, at least in the form of the TB. Vaden, not really. Like, you might show up to the very end of a team fight to be able to, you know, capitalize on it. Maybe everyone hits into the tower with that Curse of Avernus, but till that point, you are very much just playing a lone hand. Ooh, are they going to block him in here?
They're going to try. Looks like they've been able to get it done, but it's a big boost. Something comes in there.
He's out of
Corrupted. Solo, though, has to stand there and try and see if they can get the fight, but TA2000 is able to win that out. So they will trade supports, but for the cause, very happy about that. That's a lot of experience, mate.
Wonder if they... Courier. Should still be able to get it, but gets it delivered. Yeah, I wonder if they actually looked at their inventory to see that they didn't have the Quelling Blade or the Tangos at the time, and that's why they went for that play at that point. Would be really cool if they were looking at that small of a detail, but they were rewarded with a kill for TA2000. And again, this is a relatively passive hero to be able to start the game with, so even though he doesn't actually end up getting the kill, it was Solo that did. A couple of assist bonuses is going to be really nice for him.
We're trying there with TA2000, but just not having that extra bit to get on top of the Centaur. Anyway, looking towards the middle lane, Chiro Jr. is trying to put the pressure back onto Difference. He was just taking a decent amount of those right clicks from the melee creep. Did like what Chiro Jr. was doing. Was just kind of standing there underneath the tower, just making sure that Difference couldn't just freely kill that melee creep, and he was copying the auto attacks without Chiro Jr. getting any extra hits from the tower.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're not hitting, you still look to get a little bit more aggressive. Nicely done to just keep the pressure up there in his face, get some harass damage in, secure the range creep. We'll miss out on the flag bearer creep though, and Chiro Jr. is one of those people that doesn't actually switch out his items to be able to sip onto the bottle, and not sure if he's just lazy, he doesn't see the value in it, or you definitely have value there. You know, it's an extra, it might only be 50 HP and mana, but when it comes down to a spam fest like you're going to have against this leader, that might be the difference maker. Like even there, he was 20 mana short from being able to get that combo of Shield Crash and Swashbuckle without having to use the wand. And of course, you know the potential for burst that comes through from Alina, so you don't really want to just use the wand for no reason.
Exactly. Those little min-maxes from those mid laners can be the difference sometimes, but not today. So relatively straightforward middle lane. I'm looking towards bottom lane. I think the big question mark for me with Cyber Goose is, how does Notice have a game? You know, do they shut down this offlaner who I feel like has been playing pretty well for Cyber Goose, albeit, you know, a lot of the props are going towards TA 2000 and problems. I think Notice has been keeping his own. He's definitely been one of those players that seems to come out even in a lot of these lanes, and then is able to transition that into at least a mid game.
Having a bit of a rough time though, considering how much BB3 is just hammering into him with that Twin Terror Facet. Just any chance that he gets, just liquid fire, a couple of right clicks into him, and you know, with the slows coming through from, I think he's bought a couple of extra blood grenades now at this stage, plus the dual breath. If he moves forward again unnoticed, he might die.
Yeah, he has to be very, very careful. Especially if you get close towards that level 4, you could potentially just throw a cheeky little level into the ice path.
Mm-hmm. A lot of the time you don't like to make this small camp pull happen now at this stage, just because you're going to force the siege creep into your tower, and you know, there's potential to get dived underneath it, but they would have to feel that they're in a stronger position right now on the one move side, and again, like Noticed isn't able to pick up any of this farm as well underneath the tower, so he's just being bullied back by a support on his own. Get the damage back.
That was a 1v1 that Chiro Jr. was able to come out on top of and win. Both of the supports were heading there to try and at least secure some runes. Solo walks in, doesn't get the block with all the extra illusions, so he's going to throw some hands. That'll be about it.
Yeah, I was looking at problems making his rotations towards that that mid lane, but I didn't see the others coming through as Difference now picks up his own level 6 and gets immediately dewarded as well. Are they going to go for another dive here? Just doesn't have the mana on Solo, but uses the magic wand at the last second.
Disseminate, it did a decent amount of damage there, so Chiro Jr. can just leave it. So as you said, no roll. Means they can't just continue to dive underneath this tower, but Difference is copping it.
He's copping it, and TA 2000 is farming it on this top side, right? Like, he's nearly level 6, so you know, you've already left him alone for quite some time, and he is reaping the benefits of that. Just enables you to keep him up here on his own for even longer.
I really do feel like that is just, you know, the hallmark of a lot of these Eastern European teams is very much try and win the first 6 to 7 minutes. Leave your carry and your offlaner in their side lanes, put all the emphasis in towards that mid lane and just try and get them to snowball going forward. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, there are some mid laners that kind of already win the mid lane anyway, like, you know, your Monkey Kings and your Snipers, and honestly the Lina. So the fact that Chiro Jr. has been able to do this well, I mean, he's got a 700 net worth lead over the Lina. This is not a winning lane for Pangolier. So Chiro Jr., we've always harped on the fact that he's a great individual talent in that mid lane, and he's showing it this game.
Yeah, I feel like over the last couple of days, dude. Yeah, I feel like over the last couple of days, I haven't seen that same kind of prowess out of him, but this is definitely a lane that he is kind of dominated. And as you said, is that the full thing that's coming out to him? No, it's very close.
He's got the recipe.
Yeah, so
He also
once that
doesn't get it
diffuser's
delivered
up-
because he's got a full inventory.
Yeah. One of
Is
those.
that lack of Blade of Alacrity the difference between him getting this kill or not? Looks like he's just cutting the wave for now.
It's like what, an extra
Potentially punish
couple of
Shira?
damage.
I mean, he's got haste, but doesn't look like he'll need it.
It is kind of the problem that we saw in the draft as well with the way these supports are. Relatively passive, not initiating support, so it is hard for them to actually catch any of these overextensions coming in from Chiro Jr., so he can play a little aggressive, but putting the
They smoked
emphasis on
under
the
a
bottom
ward.
side.
They know they're coming, so it's just about rallying around Notice, maybe once again using him as bait. Could use this haste rune to be able to pop the smoke from potentially the high ground, just jumping in onto the double supports.
Okay. Gets terrorized, and there will be a big old stampede, and with the Laguna Blade, they just take down Shiro Jr., so it was a huge rotation coming in from the side of one move, but it was definitely useful.
Was indeed. I mean, even Tier 2000 was showing up there. That's the situation that I was talking about, right? Like, he wanted to be there to be able to win the team fight, take out that bottom tower, invade into the areas that this DK is trying to farm, but yeah, just going a little bit too deep there was Chiro Jr. getting caught out. Again, not that he used it, but didn't even have the Blade of Alacrity available for if a team fight was eventually going to break out. I guess they didn't use the Exo, though, unnoticed, so maybe once they see this Elder Dragon form wear off, they'll opt to try and make some aggressive movements happen.
Yeah, I feel like the first couple of uses of Exorcism are so important for your game as a Death Prophet. Being able to transition those first couple of uses of the ultimate into some gold, where you may not need to use the ultimate to get some of these extra team fights going your way a little bit later on.
They see them here. Great Observer Ward placed down by BB3. It's going to clip onto Shadow Shaman and Death Prophet, so Shield Rune, that'll be helpful for Chiro Jr. to have to potentially go for these deeper dives. I really want to see them use these ultimates in combination with the 10-minute siege creep here to get some damage in onto this tier 1 tower. There we go.
That's what they're going to do.
Actually, good initiation.
Disruption in the backline there as well from BB3. So the Jakira, unfortunately for him, with the Disseminate, is going to lose his life.
But this is what I was talking about, right? Like I said, they need to do this to kill the Lina, but they'll take a tier 1 tower at the 10-minute mark of the game. You know, like it's fine enough at this stage, but certainly moving forward, once you've got a few more of these useful items for yourselves, such as Chiro Jr.'s Diffuser Blade, which is coming out to him right now, it's really just about looking to try and play around that as much as possible. So it looks like they're not willing to just give it up and sit on back. They'll scout out a couple of stacks here and maybe even see Corrupted moving through, but looks like they want to back off considering that Exo is wearing off.
Yeah, Exo wearing off. Corrupted is a bit scary. Double brace to Vanguard with a chainmail, so it's not really a pushover for them to take down. So got to be very, very careful with what you want to send towards him.
Just no uses of Rolling Thunder is a little odd to me, you know? Like, and you've got the Shield Rune as well, so this is the time to be really, maybe not overextending, but pushing the boundaries of what you're able to accomplish across the map, especially now with the Diffusal Blade as well. I would love to be able to find Lina, but Difference has done a pretty good job of just dodging out a lot of these movements.
Yeah, they also sent Eyesight towards the top side of the map as well, so this is going to be a big little hint for the side of Cyber Geese. They are sending a lot of people towards this top side of the map. Basically, all 5 of them are here for one move. So what's the response going to be here from Cyber Goose?
I don't hate it. I mean, they just wanted to take away that tower, and now look at where Difference can farm. Look at where Corrupted can farm. Like, he can just sit in these towers, he can sit in these creep waves, he can take a lot more neutral camps than he previously had the potential to do. These 2 EA 2000's already picked up the Sacred Relic, so not too far away from the Radiance, and means that if he is ganked, he's not going to lose all of that unreliable gold. So the main hurdle has been covered now. I want to see them keep it up though on the one move side. Oh, okay, they kill the courier. Well, it's okay. You know, he'll have the full Radiance once the courier's back up in about 2 minutes.
Yeah, but that Sacred Relic, with the amount of damage it does, really does speed up your farming.
Sure. And it does mean that maybe you feel a little bit less inclined to want to TP into team fights like this. I mean, I bet that's what the comms are like on One Move right now. Hey, no Sacred Relic on this Abaddon. Let's just try and take a tower. Why not? I'm not surprised that BB3 is actually backed up this much, but maybe just getting a sense that Chira Jr. in particular was coming in from the sidelines and not wanting to just give up their lives for free, but they felt pretty strong to me.
Yeah, he walked over a ward, but yeah, I agree with you. Probably not feeling as strong as they actually are in this game. But still, it is very much no room for error for both of these two teams, right? Obviously, you're in the lower bracket, so if you lose out here, then it is all done and dusted. So you want to make sure that, especially game number one, I feel like it's very, very important in these lower bracket series, just because it just gives you that little bit of extra buffer. You know, going to game number two a little bit more freer.
And it validates your drafting decisions as well. Like, not that we're not reinventing the wheel with any of these picks so far. Maybe the Abaddon a little bit, but you know, if they were able to get away with this on Cyber Goose, then they could say, all right, well, at least for this team that we're facing up against, it's going to be effective to go this slightly slower paced strategy because they're not going to respond effectively to it, you know, like they're a bit more passive team and it suits.
We're going to try and take down the Centaur here, but Stampede, good ability. Yep, halfway through him, but just without any of the damage from TA2000, it just seems like they are lacking enough to take down a Centaur.
Wonder where TA is actually going to move to here. Like, he's actually walking to grab the Talisman of Evasion so that he doesn't have to send both components across the entire side of the map. Very risky play considering they don't really have much vision. Oh, actually they do. They have it through a 4-man smoke coming through and trying to potentially catch someone out. But now they've Radiance is completed, so much more reliable for him to join a lot of these fights. Potentially disable Blink Daggers as Dark Willow walks into the smoke and ends up popping it. Don't think he actually saw the Shaman, and it's going to result in his death. Overlaying the spells a little bit, but it won't matter.
Yeah, they had enough damage there to take down Gilgear, so to finish it off. I mean, you lose a Dark Willow. To be fair, it wasn't that crazy an investment from the side of Cyber Goose, but it was a smoke.
And even now with TA2000, like, your farming speed is secured now, but you're still not wanting to fight. This is a farming Radiance, so, you know, I like the fact that they're going for potentially a little bit of a move towards this mid lane. They do have a smoke on Solo. A little surprised that he hasn't shifted it into his inventory yet to be able to pop it, because I would want to be opening up this top side, having this siege creep so that the Abaddon can hit into that top tier 1 tower, and then you just look to smoke and get a pick off as they try and respond to it. But still seems like they're happy enough to just sit back, relax, chill, maybe even just waiting for Notice to hit level 12, but I don't know. Like, I guess as long as they're not being punished for it, they're going to be A-okay.
Yeah. Probably more than happy with it, especially with an Abaddon. Sit back and you can just farm.
And it's not like you're up against non-scaling cores either. I mean, it's a DK, a Lina, and a Centaur that's already pretty damn tanky. And we were saying how important it was for them to get into that Blink Dagger, right? He's only 25 gold away on Corrupted.
Well, this could be the first fight of the while. They're going to go in directly onto Solo. Do they have a way of keeping him alive? No, they don't. They almost did for long enough. Now they're going to get the Ward Trap going out here onto Eyesight. Good Terrorize comes forward, though. Now with Chira Jr. comes in with the amplified damage. The Rolling Thunder doesn't connect on anybody just yet. They catch out Eyesight, though. They get him stuck one more time. Looking to try and get the second one up onto the stairs. Beautiful light strike away. Not going to be enough, though. Now Chira Jr. looking to try and see if we can find out Gilgear. They have found out one on the other side. It is BB3. Laguna Blade there onto Notice. Isn't able to clean him up. They're still the borrowed time to try and play around with here on TA2000. So at the end of the day, you lose the support, but you gain the kill of the DK. So if you're Cyber Goose, probably feeling pretty happy with that.
Pretty happy with that indeed. Nice ward trap there by Problems, just to force a little bit of that extra damage coming out. And I mean, we were talking about the other day. Oh, hold on. Blink Dagger reveal.
Close. No cigar just yet. Corrupted. Corrupted, looking for problems, finds him in the corner. Beautiful disruption save there from Solo, so now it's a fight that you don't really want to take if you are one move. They still haven't been able to take down problems in the backline. He gets the heal with the shackles as well, and now they turn back around with the Aphotic Shield. TA2000 is just going to get all that heal coming up because he's got the borrowed time, and unfortunately for Corrupted, there is just nowhere for him to go. And it's Kite City, and that was a beautiful save by Solo.
Beautiful save by Solo. Didn't even need to pop the foul play for that one either. And yeah, I mean, you're kind of happy as an Abaddon to be hitting into a lot of these Blade Mail offlaners, right? If you get low enough, it's just like, all right, borrowed time to heal to full.
This is where the Abaddon can really start to accelerate, right? You talked about the fact with the Radiance, but now we're getting close to the Manta. They just didn't have the Laguna Blade. They didn't have that extra bit of damage, and it was a beautiful save from the high ground there for Solo. And you can just see the healing from the shackles means that there is just enough time for them to be able to get the Aphotic Shield. They turn back around, and Corrupted is being slowed down by the Curse of Avernus there. He's never fun.
We're still in this pre-BKB period as well, and I mean, it was just really good team cohesion coming through from Cybergoose because Chira Jr. isolated both backline supports, kind of the role that we were saying he's going to continue to try and do. Maybe, maybe not.
Didn't find him in the trees.
Maybe still, maybe not. Maybe yes.
Nah.
Maybe no. We were saying this was the role that we were expecting him to play either on Storm Spirit, and he ended up picking a Pangolier because, pre-BKBs, and it's not like the supports are going BKBs, there's nothing you can really do to stop him from just running at you. So his job is to isolate the supports and make sure that that terrorized save isn't coming for when Difference gets caught out like that.
Yeah. We can try and go here on Corrupted. They're at least able to dodge the Hoof Stomp.
Another smoke coming in behind TA2000 though. Very tanky. Maybe expecting them to be coming through for the Tormentor. Is this worth a smoke?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it is, but maybe just semi-anticipating that something might be coming. You got Blink Dagger on the Centaur, Blink Dagger on the DK, and you got a Blink Dagger on Chira Jr., which meant that he was in position to pop that smoke.
TA2000 walking forward, pops the one smoke. Now Notice goes onto the back line, seeing if he can try and find out some more of these heroes. BKB is being popped. Not really much comes out of it with this fight. The Rolling Thunder is good. Corrupted goes down. Solo in the background hasn't been able to be taken down here on the Shadow Shaman. It gets the disruption up here onto Eyesight. They just tear through that Dragonite. And the next one on the list, they're looking to see if they can find Fuel Gear. And unfortunately for them, they do. They found out Difference. He gets rid of problems, but they lose two cores, and now they're going to lose a Tormentor.
Lose a Tormentor indeed. A couple of smokes wasted though. Even there on Solo's retreat, he ended up popping one. I'm assuming next to his wand button, just to try and live for that little bit longer. So not exactly the completely cleanest because they used the smoke prior, but it ended up winning them the team fight, right? Because of Chira Jr. being able to put himself inside the trees, use the wards to their advantage, and blink back to safety, and then get the re-engage onto them. So won't really have too many smokes to be able to play around now for Cybergoose if they did want to make the most of this 6k net worth advantage that they've been able to build up into. So yeah, you don't have ultimates, but even despite that, I think now may be the time to just sit back, get into that next item for yourselves, particularly for Chira Jr., because he's 1,500 gold away, I believe, from being able to finish his own Aghanim Scepter just as Notice picks up his own.
Yeah, and that's going to be a big boon now for Chira Jr. TA2000 collects another. As they just walk in and be able to clean up the Jakiro there.
Just had to get a whole lot more aggressive. Like, this is what we were talking about. They did a great job at 7-8 minutes, I think it was, to be able to take out that tier 1 tower up on the top side to supposedly limit TA2000's farming, but it just hasn't followed up at all. You know, he's just been kind of left solo. He's level 17. He's got Radiance, Manta, 500 gold away from a Blink Dagger. So now he's not going to be that passive sit on the back lines and do nothing kind of hero. He will be searching you out. He will be forcing a BKB to be popped by Difference because he is priority number one. You don't have a real saving support for him. And even if you were, it's like, that Stampede just becomes so much more important for Corrupted. So do they have the damage to burst someone down? That's really the big question that I have.
We'll see. Because as of so far, these disruptions have been very on point here for Solo, really just kind of combo breaking out the side of one move, who have not been able to connect onto these kills just yet. Full Blink Dagger now picked up by TA2000. There is a smoke that's coming around for one move, but Cyber Goose are just going to walk in Roche.
They saw Chira Jr. though taking out the Watchers, so they've got a rough idea that this is going on. Kind of just waiting around though, maybe just wanting this tower to go down first. I think Eyesight's smoke ended up popping because he walked a little bit too close to the tower, and yeah, just going to give up something else for free here.
And we talked about them needing the burst damage. They've got it, but haven't been able to connect with it just yet. And now with an Aegis on Noticed, he's going to be next to impossible. TA2000 has the borrowed time basically at all times. No way of breaking him so it doesn't just proc for him.
Yep. And that's the thing as well. I'm just having a look at Lena's item build. You know, most of the time the mid laners that we see go a little bit more of that magic burst style, but it's very much playing this one like a position 1 core, just sitting back, right clicking as much as possible, which is important. You know, you can't pop everything.
Ooh.
Hold on.
Speaking of popping everything, that's a Centaur Stampede.
Oh, how did that not hit?
Did he stop that?
Not sure.
It looked like he potentially like prematurely stopped the Rolling Thunder.
Oh well. It is what it is. Love using the Shadow Demon as well, just to be able to create these Radiance illusions to act as a little bit of a ghost push up onto the top side of the map. But yeah, what I was saying before is that like it's a weird situation, right? Because you need the burst to be able to take out DP Pangolier before they're able to get saved.
Oh.
Hold on, Eyesight.
It's just not been able to connect onto the Shadow Demon just yet. They don't have the damage. Looking to see if they can take down Notice. That's the first life, though. So the Death Prophet
everything
will lose
left, though.
life number 1.
TA2000's just in.
And he's gone to be able to take down BB, but BB gets up to the high ground, but Chira Jr. and problems are there already and waiting. TA2000 looking to see if they can stop any more of these. Ooh. Did he? Was that like a frame perfect Shadow Realm? I'm not quite sure. Oh, TA2000. That's a nifty little man to dodge. Going a little bit too deep here. They don't have any more of the Aegis of the Immortals to play around with, especially with the Shadow Shaman Snakes being thrown in a tier 3. It's a good time for them to dip
the
out.
shackles went on cooldown, so I'm not sure if Problems just cancelled it by accident or if it was
Yeah,
like...
I heard it too. And that's why I thought it was like one of those like same server tick things where it's like he shackled him at the same time he Shadow Realm, so he became untargetable and Shackles just kind of went into Narnia.
We have seen a few shamans like really early cancel shackles though.
Yeah.
Like after literally a split second, so never know, might have just been the case. Much faster pushing potential as well for Notice now with this Aghanim Scepter picked up for himself.
Problems. Walks in. They've been able to find Corrupted. The Problems will heal quite a lot here from the Centaur Wall Runner. They're seeing if they can catch him out. The Stampede gets him pretty far away, and the Radiance Burn means that there's going to be no blink for him to get away with. And finally, once again, Problems comes back and gets another Hex down, and Corrupted will unfortunately lose his life. Solo finishes him off there with the Disseminate damage.
Value. We'll be seeing here Willow getting chased down, but able to get away. Really just feels like waiting for this BKB on Notice, to be honest. Like, you've got basically everything else you could possibly ask for. Even a gem picked up by Chira Jr. So...
Alright, we're going to check this in slow-mo. Yeah, it just seemed like it was the same server tick. So I don't know if he cancelled it. Because it didn't start like the channeled thing. I think it was just frame perfect.
Hold on. If they kill Chira Jr., this would be enormous. Ooh, he's got the blink, but...
Oh my god, okay. Goes into the roll-up now, goes into the Rolling Thunder, looking to see if he can get the kill there onto BB. We'll eventually be able to clean him up now with the Aghanim Scepter, and the auto-attack damage is just not going to be enough for them. So Chira Jr. rolls in, rolls out, and they use the Laguna for nothing.
I mean, it would have been super worth if they were able to kill, right? Like, not only do you take away Pangolier, a lot of the initiation, your supports have a much easier time. They would have got a gem as well off the back of that, so it would have been like a 3k gold swing easily.
Just
not meant to be, though. Yeah. This is what I'm talking about with that burst damage, right? Like, if you're actually able to kill him inside of that initial burst, whether it be E-Blade or Aghanim Scepter on the Lena, then you can kill Pangolier before he's able to get into that Rolling Thunder. You can kill the DP before she's able to get off a bunch of Spirit Siphons, before the Shadow Demon's able to save. But then conversely, what do you have to be able to deal with the Abaddon? Because a lot of burst isn't going to deal with Abaddon. You need that sustained damage. You know, get him low once, but then still have the damage to be able to take him out the second time around.
Solo eventually gets found out here, and Chira Jr. It's deleted as well, so that's a lot of damage that goes out for them, and just not being able to connect
He got
with
the
all of
gem.
their heroes. Oh my god,
going to the gem.
2000. Will he be able to live though? Does pop the borrowed time here. Problems is on the side, so he will get enough distance to blink out as well.
Cheeky. They had people with inventory space available as well that just walked on past it, so you know, getting a little bit hungry for the follow-up kill, and ends up gaining them the gem back. So again, great presence by Tier 2000 to just, one, be in the region, and two, have the cojones to go for that. And it's going to result in them getting 2 D wards here, one freshly placed down as well, which I'm a little surprised that they did that, considering they just knew that the gem was maintained by Cybergeese.
Sometimes you're just hoping that they don't go anywhere near your ward, and you're able to get a bit of vision for it.
Hope all you want, but it's reality.
Yeah.
Will not be happening. Getting closer towards the Abyssal Blade as well for Tier 2000. Another deathless game so far. As I say that, I'm sure he'll be about to die in about a minute.
The caster's curse. Taylor's old as time. Alright. Seems like we're going to be grouping up here once again for Cybergeese. Looking towards... Is there another Tormentor up soon? I feel like it's very soon.
I think they took it at like 20 minutes and 40 seconds, so about a minute. I mean, they just need to back up Tier 2000, right? No reason not to. Play alongside your wards, play along the left-hand side of the map, and then take a free Tier 2 tower. Why not? Maybe more. Force them to back off.
I don't think one would really want to contest Tier 2000 at this point. He did say that there was Alina around on difference, so just going to leave it be. See if they can walk their way to the other side.
Solo's nowhere nearby though, or wasn't at the very start of that, so... I mean, all outer towers are gone. We know Roshan's coming up in within 1 and 4 minutes, and it'll be coming up on the bottom side of the map, so... Seems like they're just going to try and sweep across and force all of one move back to their side of the map and hope for a really early Roche respawn. Even just using Tier 2000 as bait to say, hey, we're not smoking. You can safely look to pick up a bunch of farm. BB?
Close.
Surely not.
Very long TP.
Oh, just 0.1 seconds.
Sometimes with those very long TPs, you are just hoping and praying that they give up and they walk away.
Tormi's back up. Could look to claim it if they really wanted to, but seems like they don't want to give up their map control, right? Because there's no real objectives to be playing for on the top side of the map. It is a pretty long Roche respawn, I believe.
252.
And I know it says 3 minutes, but like sometimes it's buggy and just goes a lot sooner than that, so just
have to wait and see. I do agree with you though, not wanting to give up the map presence is a big thing here for the Cybergeese.
Because again, remember, these aren't weak other cores that you're playing up against on one move. You know, if it gets to the later stages, they will have the potential to be able to, like, you pop Elder Dragon form and you're level 25 on DK, Pango still dies during Rolling Thunder, just trying to roll through and disrupt the backlines, so... Ooh, corrupted.
Okay,
onto an illusion.
The illusion.
Nice bait. At least not everything was used for that one there, but Tier 2000 is just running on in with that Abyssal Blade available, by the way.
You're looking to see
Just
if you
like
can
that.
find some unsuspecting members.
Roche is up, by the way, so bug remains. Gonna do a quick check of this on BB. Guess not. They do see him though, it's still daytime, so they would have had a glimpse of grip on problems, so they know that they might be going for some sort of wraparound, and the first support to actually check Roshan is the Shadow Shaman, who didn't have the positioning at the time. They're kind of stuck on both sides here on one move, so who's actually... Like, is this a pincer move, or is this just you've divided all of your resources?
I think Gilgear is just sitting here waiting and just hoping that nobody sees him. He's going to try and reconnect with the team now, going the long way around, but BB's here as well. They're just going to jump in. I do hear an Abyssal Blade in the back line. TA2000 looking to see if he can connect onto anybody just yet. Nice little shots and save there as well. Onto the back lines now. The rolling thunder comes forward, and he just gets bashed to oblivion. And then Difference, unfortunately, just is not able to play the game again. Another bash goes down here. Corrupted loses his life to all the damage coming in from the Death Prophet. They will just have the buyback coming out from the Shadow Shaman. Looking to try and get another bash, and it is just the Abyssal coming in from TA2000. Falls off onto the high ground, gets the TP away, but no. It's a disruption from Solo. Keeps him in place. And they will just clean up 4 heroes from the side of one move. And it looks like right now Cyber Geese are looking to try and claim a whole lane of racks.
Yeah, who needs Roshan when you've got a Rax to be able to just run on into? Even again, just the potential for further damage into the tower of the
Solo
DP.
kill. Problems. Very careful here, mate. Heals up there from Grip. Terrorize as well. He's able to run away from Kim. Grip's going to see if he can try and get the solo kill, but it's problems. He's able to clean it up. So, buyback into a solo kill on Gilgear is a good start.
Take those.
It's going to be 2 lanes, it seems.
Oh, yeah,
The drag up for 30.
Still even just pop Manta on tier 2000 if they wanted to do it faster. I don't know, like, Lina on her own is not enough. Like you've been saying, Difference has just not been the difference in a lot of these different team fights. You know, he's kind of getting off that initial burst, but then the follow-up damage just isn't there because you don't have the defensive supports to be able to save him. There's been some amazing 4-stars coming out as well from Cyber Geese, just to keep Solo safe at the start of these team fights. Means that he's able to get off all of his defensive stuff for himself. The Demonic Cleanse, he even used the Demonic Purge onto the Centaur that time around, so they took him out. It's looking real good, and you have to wonder, like, what is the situation where Lina's going to have a comfortable fight? Again, considering you've gone this right-click style, as Junior just gets thrown away.
Okay.
Might be thrown into his
gets
death,
thrown
actually.
into Alina. Has to be very, very careful, but they're able to at least keep him alive. TA2000 is going to walk forward there onto Corrupted.
Oh,
Now
nice
with no
Manta dodge
rolling
again.
thunder, they are just chilling.
They could have Dragon-tailed the Pango again, but just lets him get away. Guess they didn't pop anything big other than the Elder Dragon form, but it is really big.
He's chasing. It's a big Dragon Tail there, goes on to Solo. Put in the back line Difference. He's the one that's got all these calls from the side of Cyber Goose, just trying to chase him down, and they do eventually clean him up. Thanks to the fact that TA2000 is so quick here on the Abaddon. Wants to try and get the kill there onto the Jakiro, or the Ethereal just ran out. And he's able to get himself away. Actually, no, it looks like he died in the fountain.
He died in the fountain. He got Demonic Purge. That's why Solo was just there to be able to wipe that one out. I don't think there was any additional right clicks that came through anyway. It was just, you know, part of the Radiance burn, part of some of that extra damage that was coming through as well. But yeah, this could have potentially really been a kill. I mean, stun into no Dragon Tail coming through. Just tried to anticipate while still having that Blink Dagger of cooldown on the DK. And, well, they attempted to go for a bit of a snatch there on the Aegis, and you can't put it... you can't fault Grip for trying to do it. He got the banner, yeah, okay. But I don't think walking up onto high ground is an issue that they're having at this point on Cyber Geese.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, you take the banner, but the creeps are not the problem. The problem is TA2000. So,
yeah.
Hurricane banner or not, I don't think there's really much they could do here for one move.
He's got the level 25 Curse of Avernus, 65 attack speed extra as well, so he's going to stand behind Notice. Why not? Twice now a DP is going to be one getting the Aegis, and if you could just stick her on the front lines and be this pusher, why not?
You always have the save there with Solo as well. Now they're going to run in with the Rolling Thunder, looking to see if they can keep this fight rolling here, Notice. Got 2/3 HP available, and they will just get the Megas and they'll walk away here. TA2000 goes into the Laguna Blade. We'll soak that up. So So Notice will lose his life. BKB's been popping out by Eyesight. They have no rolling thunder. They have to be very, very careful. They've got no safety from the disruption on the back line. No, Notice goes in that BKB, wants to get away from these right clicks. There is so many of them. They just fly up to the high ground and take him down. As TA2000 though wants to turn his attention back onto the rest of one move. And they will take down Gilgear. Everybody else is able to blink out to safety. So one move, they've got Mega Creeps to attend to now.
Yeah.
And a 14k net worth lead for the side of Cyber Goose.
That's the big thing for mine. Like, the mission accomplished, being able to get the Mega Creeps back off. They're still going to have trouble getting into solo. Just walks past an Observer Ward with holding a gem and doesn't deward it. Okay. Got Eyesight on the other team, but this is Timu Eyesight. Not quite seeing it right there.
Solo's just too busy trying to get Chira Jr. to come over to him to get that gem.
Mm-hmm.
He says, I don't care about your diffuser blade, mate. You're carrying a gem.
Get that in the back.
Oh, this is the same kind of build that we were seeing yesterday from Kiyotaka. Was the right click DP build going the Dragonlance. I believe he went AC after that as well.
Mm-hmm.
And was just throwing hands with the Aghanim Scepter. Gives you a lot of extra bonus damage just with your auto attacks. Spawning a spirit.
Yeah,
Obviously
for
more
sure.
attacks
Especially,
means more damage.
I mean, he's got the 8 spirits inside the Spirit Collector as well, so next Exorcism is just going to be even more impactful. Not that they need it again. All the main towers have been collected already. So what do you do now is the real question. I mean, the thing that I was holding on for was this Aghanim Scepter from Corrupted. Like, how are they going to delay the game long enough to be able to get this? Because it's going to be pretty useful if, you know, for whoever's getting focused down. You know, pop your BKB, run in with the workhorse, hopefully grab Lina or DK and just have them right-click away at whichever target you deem necessary. Probably the Pangolier, to be honest. Like, try and take him out so that your supports can actually have a team fight.
Okay. Gilgear was looking for something.
Just look to send these Aberr Illusions in. Even just using the Glimmer Cape onto an illusion, seeing if they would take the bait, but it won't be the case.
Yep, just constantly keeping these creeps pushed in, and the Mega Creeps, they're hard to deal with.
Even Notice is just jungling at this point in time. They're in no rush. They know that they've hemmed one move inside of their base, not too much that they can look to do about it. Any big items coming? I mean, Nullifier, I guess, is probably the one for Chira Jr., so not necessarily needing the Shadow Demon's Demonic Purge to be able to ruin their lives. 4-star, they've got
a Ghost Scepter too.
Yeah, 2 Ghost Scepters and a Yule Scepter. And 3 different 4-stars. So pretty damn effective.
All right. There is a very obvious ward. Oh, they're just sentry wards. Doesn't need to matter at all. They're going to go directly there onto BB3. And again, another bash goes down there onto Ice. I guess Demonic Purged as well. This Dragonite is going to have to try and get away here with the end of his BKB. Difference though, throws in the Laguna Blade on the Chira Jr. The auto attacks to a decent amount of damage, but they don't clean out the game just yet. And again, Corrupted's going forward here. Goes on to Notice. Notice turns back around here with the BKB.
So much damage.
So does not have his own BKB. They have to be very, very careful. Same thing here with Difference. Gets him in onto the cart to see if he can throw these auto attacks, but it's the borrowed time. And they just bring Difference back in towards the fountain. And they're looking to see if they can try and do something here towards the end. A beautiful disruption once again. Chira Jr. goes in, gets everybody hit there by the shield crush as well. Difference in the backline's getting so low there on the leader. The GGs have been called, and that is game number 1. Going the way here of Cyber Goose. And yes, it wasn't a fast victory, but it looked like from start to finish there, Matt, that was all Cyber Goose series. So let's see if they're able to make this one a contest, or whether or not it will be a relatively quickly end to their road to the international.
I'm just looking at One Move's draft along every single hero basically like needs 1 or 2 key items to be able to do anything this game, right? Like Void Spirit really wants that Aghanim Scepter. PA needs Battle Fury plus 1 item, whether it's Deso or BKB. Disruptor needs the Blink Dagger or maybe a 4-staff, considering what you're going up against, but it does sacrifice a lot of your aggressive potential. Shaker obviously needs the Blink Dagger. DP's really the only one that can make stuff happen with a couple of smaller items, right? The Phase Boots, a Null Tally, maybe some Raindrops and a Magic Wand, and then you just try and ball around her and try and take some towers to stop TA from getting whatever farm she wants. But again, it's like you don't really need that same level of effectiveness on the Cyber Goose side, right? You only need Desolator to do stuff on the Pangolier. You only need Helm the Dominator to do stuff on the Beastmaster. Shaman, I guess, needs Blink Dagger, but Jakira doesn't need anything. TA will get a lot, and she'll get it very quickly.
And especially with a lot of these stacks that have been built up for a lot of these different fights. Eyesight.
Fisher might be
He's
needed.
being caught out. Now they've got the Shackles. Beautiful Fisher, though, from Gilgear. And Solo, he's stuck on the wrong side of it.
He'll be fine.
Quite tanky. He's at least okay, but a lot of damage there goes into eyesight.
What's going on with BB3 here? Is he gonna try and fight into this? Doesn't seem like it. He's just got the Thunderstorm facet as well on Disruptor, so increases the slow from the Thunderstrike to 0.6 seconds, I believe. It will be nice to slow them down maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I'm a little concerned about this this game for them, although noticed a little bit of the business.
Yeah, he takes quite a lot here. They're going to have a second Blood Grenade, and he's going to go down first here. So,
All right.
Nice little first blood coming out from the side of one move. And this is what we talked about, right? Like, you know, we're looking at the draft and we go, oh, you know, it's a bit of a spicy one. Seems like they've at least been able to figure out how they want to play this lane and try and shut down somebody like Notice. So it's a good start here for one move.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that could really... I was expecting them to do relatively well in this lane just because they've gone for this very early game oriented draft anyway, that you just go call the wild on Beastmaster. Like, there's no reason not to. But maybe that wasn't the best option overall. Like, you see the PA... the wild axes are going to be amazingly effective. PA needs to spam out the dagger a lot, so you're going to get a lot of these wand charges and just bully her away, slow down her timings, and then you can get enough tower damage done off the back of Jakiro, off the back of Shadow Shaman, off the back of even TA with like a Blightstone and a Blink Dragonlance to be able to take out a lot of these objectives. So not sure if the Beastmaster was needed to go down this route, because I feel like you could just be feeding a lot of free gold and XP into this PA.
Yeah, that's the problem, right? If you start feeding a hero like PA who can notoriously be a little slow with some of these different lanes, and Difference is able to pull one back here and take down Shira Jr. I don't know if that was a raw 1v1 or whether or not that was... Yeah, it looks like there was a Fisher there coming in from Gilgear, so... Not a straight up 1v1, but still a solo kill nonetheless there for Difference.
A couple nice movements from Gilgear now. He's been involved in the first blood and that mid lane, so helping his team out in a big way. I mean, that's another way to be able to just get a lot of this early gold that you're going to need to build towards the Blink Dagger as well. You know, I mentioned I hate do-nothing heroes, but he ain't doing nothing on this Shaker right now. He's doing a lot.
He's doing a good job at just making sure that he has a stake in this game and being able to get a lot of this early gold, especially starting out with the boots here. If Gilgear is able to just kind of constantly keep getting things done on the map while still being a little bit of a greedier support hero, things can start to look up here for one move, and I can't seem to take my eyes off this top lane.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of action happening in top lane, but even now, Gilgear like made a creep pull happen, stacked, stopped them from taking the Lotus pull with his Fisher. He's doing a great job all throughout.
Looks like he's starting to put the team on his back.
Yep.
So, just trying to look through across a lot of these other heroes, and the way that we're seeing a lot of these heroes being built, doesn't seem like there's going to be too many deviations. I think probably Corrupted's the only one who may see a little bit of a deviation in the item build throughout today. I still feel like, you know, just going that kind of tank build and then just going in towards an Aghanim Scepter is always what you want for Death Prophet.
It's fine, but again, I really feel like he needs to do more with the early game. Like, he needs to do a lot with very few items. So I'm not sure if, like, going all out into the Aghanim Scepter is the way for him to go. Like, is he going to go down the route of, I don't know, a Veil or something like that? Or a Yule Scepter just to be able to provide a little bit of extra safety? Not really big Yule's value this game, though.
What about an early Lotus Orb?
It's not... Like, I get it, but it's not early, you know?
I know what you mean. There's a fight.
I just need something to
top
stop
side,
them from running at you.
Noticed. He's getting close to the end of his life, but he has 14 one charges. So, be very, very careful about trying to push yourself too far here in this lane between both of them. Eyesight's doing a fantastic job so far to be able to just constantly keep Notice at a very low amount of HP.
I think Problems has a few tangos coming out to him, so should be fine. I was wondering if Problems might have chosen to go back and start building up a few of these stacks for them to eventually look to try and take. Particularly TA2000, who, by the way, caught out by Gilgear here, or maybe not. Nice little
okay.
Fisher block, but not going to be enough.
Corrupted was being chased much further than I'd
Still is.
expected from that Centaur War Chief, Centaur Conqueror. Pardon me.
They're going to need something to be able to keep him healthy. Just a salve coming through on the courier for him right now. Grip doesn't have any money to be able to spend on the DP, so right now he's just soaking up a bunch of this experience. Can't afford to go out into the lane, except for maybe the range creep.
Yeah, Crip swarms it, keeps it going nice.
Yeah.
Middle lane,
I would
have a quick little
imagine
check
Grip,
in with Chira Jr. and Difference. Difference is at the point now where he has the Astral Step. So you have to be very, very careful, especially if Gilgear is constantly hovering around. It seems like he has noticed that it's time for Problems to start making some of those stacks and decided to get the opening D-Ward coming out. TA2000 is able to take down Corrupted in the bottom side of the map, but Gilgear looks here to see if they can try and make a go on Notice once again. He's the one that gets caught out, though, by the Shackles. With the double bore, it's going to be a little bit of this extra damage coming in from the Beast Master. But nobody loses their life just yet.
I mean, Cybergeese are doing a great job of reacting to whenever, like, someone isn't showing on the map or is showing and noticing that you've got, like, an outnumber situation. They instantly went on to Corrupted there as soon as Grip was there to de-ward the Observer Ward that was placed by the Shadow Shaman, just to be able to protect the power runes. But I still maintain that he's doing so much this game, and it's going to set up Difference to potentially make this move towards the Wisdom rune. On with BB3.
They can see it.
Potentially get a pick. Yeah, they do, but can they do anything about it? Level 7 versus level 3s. I guess they've got the Rolling Thunder.
Got the Shackles, and as you said, the Rolling Thunder potential. Chicken Fingers gets the Hex going out there onto Difference, and now,
Slow there.
unfortunately for BB3, he walks into 3 members to the side of Cyber Goose. So,
But it is Rolling Thunder used just for a support, and they're not going to be able to really get anything else off the back of it. And then Difference, he's the one that makes his move back towards the mid lane, no TP on the Pangolier. So, yeah, you get a little bit of gold off of the Disruptor, but you're still getting a bunch of this free farm here on Difference. A very different game for him compared to game number 1. 700 gold difference.
yeah, really starting to crush this mid lane here on the Void Spirit, and you can see with that early start, he's making his way towards bottom. About half
It's
mana.
4 bottom. They know, though. Difference walked underneath an Observer Ward, and I don't think he walked close enough to the creep wave, but still, TA2000 is going to back off completely.
Yeah, they brought Eyesight
Without the
towards the
Rolling
bottom side of the
Thunder.
map as well, Matt. So,
Yeah.
evacuating for TA2000.
Yeah. Without the Rolling Thunder, they can't really fight on Cyber Goose. So they're just trying to do their best to try and shove in this lane as much as possible. It was Chira Jr. that ended up getting the power rune. Just an illusion, so not amazing for this game, but some of the TPs are actually starting to come now.
It's a big
Triple
ice
ice
path. BB3 is just going to lose his life underneath that T1 tower. They glimpse back TA2000, but they don't find anybody else. So, I mean, BB3 losing his life, not all too bad, especially now after going to back this trade here onto Notice on the top side of the map. He has 21 charges, but with how deep he is and with how many members to the side of one move that are going to be here as well, does he want to throw out the Raw? Not really. It's going to do not much for him. And he's just going to lose his life. So Different's able to pick that one up, and a good rotation there from one move.
Okay, nice little rotation coming through. Tower nearly down. Bunch of wards placed down as well to be able to give him a bit of information. Is Corrupted? I don't know if I would be confident to do this on TA2000, especially with still 8 seconds left on the refraction. Yeah.
All right, yeah. Seems like
Should be
that
able to
was
get the tower
a
off
big
this too.
turnaround from Corrupted.
I mean, you've got Spirit Siphon. You talk about ways to be able to break those refraction charges. That is probably the main one that they've got at this stage. That and Static Storm.
Definitely requires
Solid.
a BKB this game here from TA2000.
Radiant's bottom tower has
Being
Solo.
annoying, although just level 2, so the Glimpse will just be out of range for him. Maybe not though.
He's
On
fast.
the edge. No, it's nighttime though. It doesn't have the vision.
Yeah, Solo's able to just get away there from the Disruptor. Just in time for TA2000 to give him the power back up.
So in situation, Difference gets lucky again, and he is straight up rushing for that ag. So again, it is exactly what he needs to be doing. He's got a 900 net worth lead over the Pangolier as a result of getting that that first blood, and it means that they're not going to be in this like super vulnerable position where, you know, you've got this huge item on noticed and they're going to take over the map. Yeah, you've lost your tier 1 tower, but you've also gained a tier 1 tower on the other side of the map as well. So there's a little bit more information about where exactly you could be looking to play.
True. Very true.
Radiant are scanning.
Let's see if they can make the go on Solo bottom side though. He was relatively quick because he was going apparently downstream, even though that he was going like sideways. But it's fine. We're still in beta.
So having a look at Shira Jr. I mean, we talk about some of these big item timings, 700 gold away from the defusal, so you'd have to imagine that's around the time that they're going to start making a few more of these aggressive moves happen, although if they can get a freebie onto EV3, they will take it. Ice Path misses this time, though.
Ooh. A little attack potentially could have done it there from TA2000, but yeah, just using the Ice Path there, BB3 understood that he can just TP away. Not all too many stuns that come out from the side of Cyber Geese, especially if Problem is on the other side of the map. Problems.
Dire's middle tower
Yeah,
has fallen.
requires some heavy committal for sure to be able to use those stuns, 2 of them being on cores through ultimates. But yeah, I'm happy that they're also just giving a little bit of farm over to BB3. Like I really... Is Shira Jr. going to be okay? I wonder if they can force him to use that Rolling Thunder if they glimpse him back underneath the tower.
At level 6 though, so they don't have the Static Storm, and so he's able to at least not be forced to Rolling Thunder.
Rune's top. Regen, of course. He
Classic.
needed it, but we'll gladly take it. Yeah, I want to see them give just a little bit of XP over to BB3. I know it's important for him to make sure his cores aren't getting rotated onto, and just have a look at some of the wards that they're placing up as well. I know it's a really obvious one up on the high ground, but it just signals this type of play that Cybergoose are wanting to do. They're wanting to play on the front foot. They're wanting to make the most out of a few of these early timings. You've already got Helm of the Dominator, Helm of the Overlord Recipe, 1700 gold away from... What are you killing there? That's in the mid lane, okay. 1700 gold away from Helm of the Overlord. And Diffusal Blade's coming soon, Desolator's coming soon. It's around that 15-minute mark that I think Cybergoose are really going to start trying, at least, to make some big things happen across the map.
Yeah, that's where it really feels like they hit this first kind of actual spike for these heroes. But the question is, how close are the side of one move going to be to their first set of items? Difference will definitely have the Aghanim Scepter at that point. The question is going to be, for me, what's Corrupted moving towards? He's going to go for a Spirit Vessel. So wanting to try and shut down any of the potential healing that can come from the Beastmaster a little bit later on.
Yeah. But later on, I feel like it's a long way later on. I was totally fine with the Urn of Shadows that he's going. Just because, you know, it's another thing that's going to assist with team fights. It gives you some nice mana regen, a little bit of armor against these particular heroes, another refraction breaker. But I would have gone from that straight into the Veil after that. You know, it just feels like you want these early effective items to be able
Or
to
double
wipe
kill.
them out.
I think they've potentially bitten off more than they can chew. Differences here as well, trying to take down Solo, but Gilgy is the one that loses his life here. That Assimilate's going to go up, down, onto the high ground. Same with the Astral Step.
Out of
We're
mana.
going to see if they can try and catch any more of this. Problem wants to catch up to Difference here, see if he can get on top of him for the Hex. They can't. Just not close enough there, even with the Purge of the Diffusal Blade.
Yeah, it was BB3 with the Kobold Cup there that ended up being able to get him back to safety. Can just glimpse back to TA2000.
Oh!
Yeah.
Amp damage and the Meld Strike. Almost did it to the Disruptor.
Honestly, if TA2000 had 300 more gold and had his Desolator, I almost consider, like, do they go into Roche and just use that amp damage, double Meld Strike, drop the Mass Serpent Wards? Because I think they could have very easily taken it.
Radiant are scanning.
But
Feels like a lot of the wards that have been placed down by one move as well, like they are in pretty aggressive positions, but it's not necessarily to like be aggressive themselves. It's more just about understanding where exactly Cyber Goose are moving, where the smokes can potentially be looking to come from to be able to try and punish.
being a bit more proactive rather than reactive and that kind of stuff. So
It's a lot easier to be that way if you know what's going on across the map.
Yeah.
You've got map packs essentially.
Oh,
Close.
they just miss out on TA2000 there. Still going to walk into him. They get glimpsed up. They do get the Static Storm as well. Corrupted does pop out the Exorcism there. Spirit Vessel as well. They want to try and keep TA2000 alive, but they don't react in time to the Cyber Goose. And now they're looking to try and see if they can take down Corrupted here as well. Notice wants to walk away from that Spirit Siphon. They do get a little bit further away, and Chira Jr. loses a little bit to that Spirit Vessel. Now going in onto the Void Spirit. Do they have the damage to take him down before he Astral Steps away? No, goes in towards the Dissimulate as well as the Astral Step and gets the physical barrier thanks to that Void Blast. What's it even called? Resonant Pulse.
Resonant Pulse. Yeah, I won't give you a reprieve on that one. It's been the same since the start of his inception. But he does get the downhill movement down the stream. This time around, it wasn't the old sideways. So nice little pick off there onto the TA. Still, despite all that, TA 2000 top of the net worth charge, which is to be expected for a Templar assassin, and that's without her really taking any of these stacks, right? Like Noticed has been the one building up his own stacks inside of the jungle, taking them themselves. And now they've got that Helm of the Overlord. Now they've got that Desolator plus Dragonlance. And now they've got Roche potential off the back of all of this.
Oh, Chira Jr. Oh, they missed the Astral. The Remnant there.
Scepter's up though.
Gonna walk into the pit. As you said, double Meld Strike Desolator. They've got the Helm of the Overlord coming in from Noticed. So
It seems like they'll be able to do it in time, or to get there in time.
get themselves a juicy little Aegis. Do you remember when I can't remember what blog post it was, but there was a blog post about the official name of Aegis.
No. What
It was a couple of years ago, and I remember there was a lot of discourse on Twitter about it. That people being like, "I'm always going to call it an Aegis."
What did they
Yeah,
actually
everyone just
call
calls it Aegis.
Oh, like Aegis or Aegis.
Yeah, Aegis or Aegis.
Tower is under attack.
I mean, it's
There
like
was
GIF
an
and
official
GIF, you know?
blog post about it. Yeah. I mean, GIF sayers are. I mean, you can't even help them at that point.
Dyer's top tower
It's a GIF, graphic, interface, something.
Format.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Then again, we're Australians and we can't really talk about how we say things. So
No.
I'd call it a Chazwazza.
Good one. Yeah, that's a good one. Again, we're back to the references, ladies and gentlemen. We swear this game is good.
I mean, we're just waiting for them to do something with this Aegis. Waiting for Ultimates. There we go.
Yeah.
BB's got his available. And I mean, if he's not going to have a... He's not going to have a Gossamer Cape. Next best thing is that Ghost Scepter to be able to withstand a lot of this physical damage. Should never really be in a position where Shadow Shaman and Jakiro are catching him out, but this is what I was expecting to happen from the get-go. It's just that the early game of One Move was good enough that it was kind of delayed a little bit. But I mean, you've hit all of your big timings right now. You've got almost enough for the Desolator. I think 50 gold away now for Templar Assassin to be able to pick up that Blink Dagger. And they're just going to move all the way across the map to try and pick up every single objective that they can in the duration of this first Aegis. Might not be a move up onto high ground first Aegis, as PA just gets away. Disruptor just gets away.
Yeah, the fact
But
that
again, it's not the worst.
The fact that TA was the one that walked up there first is a bit of a blessing. But yeah, just kind of crossing off all the objectives on the map, doing a bit of sightseeing across the Radiant base, to be able to take them down. I wouldn't have hated it if they even tried to knock on the door of a tier 3. I guess it's kind of one of those scenarios where it's like your first Aegis, you're feeling very, very strong, so you'd rather just get a bulk of these objectives rather than try and chip away to tier 3 tower.
It's also the fact that they hadn't seen Grip in a while and they didn't know the status of his Blink Dagger. Spoiler alert, he's got it. So, like, if they made that mistake of overcommitting up to the high ground, especially when you've got this Beastmaster army that they're looking to try and play around with, it could have been disaster for them. It might honestly still be if one move scout the fact that we're 10 seconds away from Tormentor spawning and look to try and make a move around there, but
Radiant's
seems
bottom
like
tower is under attack.
you can't commit an exorcism to be able to take this tower, can you? I just don't think it's worth it. Maybe Difference will just have to show just so that you're putting some sort of map pressure on.
I mean, they're going to do a lot of damage to this tier 2 tower.
Yep.
And I think the powerful thing as well is the fact that BB is sitting very close to this tier 2 tower, so if anybody does TP into it, that glimpse away
Radiant structures are
can keep this fight going. There's a lot of Aether Remnants that are hovering around the tower as well.
Just trying to scout out any sort of TPs that might be coming in. But I mean, you're losing your own second tier 2 tower. Thing is, you're obviously much weaker at being able to take a lot of these objectives. So I think you're happy enough to be able to make this trade happen on one move. Not happy, but content, satisfied, okay with. There we go. That's third time lucky.
It took so long to take that tier 2 tower that they're able to get the Tormentor tier 2 tower and now start to knock on the tier 3.
Yep.
And they
I mean,
still
PA
don't have to
wasn't
deal
doing
with their creep wave on the bottom side.
PA is still 400 gold away from being able to get that BKB, so it's really just a matter of trying to keep them pushed away enough before you're able to take it. She might need to TP back and just sell the Windlace to be able to get the gold needed to be able to buy out that BKB. Seems like Eyesight's getting a little greedy and wants to go for the Wisdom Rune first, or not sell the Windlace.
It's looking a little bit far forward. They're going to get the Echo Zone. Doesn't really do much though, and that's 2-tap comes in from the TA. Do they have the lockdown to take down the Void Spirit? And they do. Difference, unfortunately for him, loses out, and this is the worst case scenario. It was their defense here from one move, and this is a full lane of racks. Are you going to be looking at losing 2 lanes of racks here with 30 seconds left to go?
I think so.
Not.
I mean, they got nothing. They got nothing left though. Is the thing. You don't have Exorcism. You don't have Echo Slam. You don't have Static Storm. What's going to kill you other than PA with, I guess she's got a BKB, but she could have been in part of that team fight.
Gonna walk forward here, see if they get another
PA's
hit
in.
going forward. Now TA loses a lot of her life as well, and it's exactly what you talked about. Now gets the blink away, so Eyesight's gonna see what he can do with the BKB, and he crits through on Achira Jr. Looking to try and take down another with Notice, getting extremely low here on the Spirit Vessel. So this is exactly what you talked about. And I was thinking it was a little bit of a branch too far, just because they didn't have the Serpent Wards, but good little hold there from one move, but they do lose a full lane of racks for that. And it's a big old lead right now in the game, feeling for the side of Cyber Goose, but it's not that much gold, so not the end of the world.
I just think it could have been different, you know, if you just TP'd back and sold the Windlace, maybe you protect that first lane of racks. Now it's just going to be so much more difficult, right? Because you've already got such a good pushing lineup on Cyber Goose, and one of the lanes is going to be doing that pushing for you, you know, so now you can just move elsewhere. You can look to just use the Helm of the Overlord crit to continuously try and push in. You can even see some of the items being purchased up now by Jakiro. Actually going for the mech first, huh? I thought he might rush the Solar Crest, considering he has most of the components finished up already, but doesn't seem like he's content to do that. Wants a little bit more of that AoE presence, and perhaps even just sitting a little further on the back line, and you know, the range for Mechanism is going to be a little bit longer.
Also moving towards the Guardian Greaves as well. Gives him that potential little bit of save against the PA, but I guess it is kind of the same with the Solar Crest.
If PA's on you, you're just dead. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
unless you got a Ghost Scepter.
I hope that eventually we get to the point where for solo we get to see the forbidden hot dog. I doubt it.
The Forbidden Hot Dog.
The
I'm gonna need this
axe for Jakiro. Speaking
Ah,
of,
of course.
did they echoed him?
Yep. And wasn't needed either.
Yeah,
Hit
that was
nothing.
weird. That was weird.
Well,
Anyways,
that's reality.
but yeah, that's the Jakiro axe forbidden hot dog, because the two ice things on the side look like a bun, and macropire in the middle looks like a hot
Why
dog.
is it forbidden?
Because it's spicy and it hurts.
Are scared.
It does
So
hurt, I'll
forbidden.
give you that.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to eat it.
His bottom
That's for
tower
sure.
is under attack.
Anyways,
Where's the commitment? That's what I want to know.
the commitment is buying axe on Jakiro, not having a useful item. That's the commitment. Speaking of useful, this PA is really starting to come into her own. Things are
Ooh,
getting
Nullify, I like that.
a
Next
little
purchase.
dicey. I do like that he hasn't gone for, like, I don't want to say traditional PA items, because these are traditional PA items, but I like the
Deso, you
fact
mean?
that he's just making it so it is going to be very hard for them to deal with him in that initial burst of his BKB. And I think that's the biggest thing. As soon as his BKB's gone, he's not really going to do much and needs to do a lot of heavy lifting in those first couple of seconds. And if you're able to take down, like, the Shadow Shaman, or maybe even the Jakiro in those first 1 to 2 hits, that just means that the rest of the fight is going to be a whole lot easier for you and the rest of your team as well. So that Nullify just...
Got to be mindful of notice still, though, right? Like that's the thing that can kind of put a damper on all of these things is that primal roar going through the debuff immunity. So I don't think that it'll be a case of like roar and then turn around and kill the PA, because during that BKB a lot of your team's damage is still going to be nullified by that. At least until TA 2000 has this Monkey King bar, but it'll just give you enough time to be able to retreat and reposition, waste that duration of BKB, because Eyesight's going to be a whole lot less effective once that BKB starts getting down to 7, even 6 seconds.
All right. Him slowing down once again here, but one move. They're trying to make something happen. They get themselves a full 5-man smoke. They don't find anybody just yet. And to be fair, they don't really have any
Junior, maybe?
vision on the other side of the map. They've got a few watches here and there, but that's about it, right? Like, they don't really have any other ways of them gaining any vision across here. Just trying to play that much more defensive style of the vision game. And you can just see that they're just playing on the other side of the map here for the Cyber Geese.
Seems like they're pretty content with just sitting back and waiting for second Roshan on Cybergeese. Like, there's nothing that's going to change for them in the next couple of minutes in terms of big items coming through, except maybe a Blink Dagger on the Beastmaster. That's about it. So, if they can just maintain control over this top area of the map, be in position to be able to secure Roshan nice and early. Spirit Illusion going to be poked and prodded a little bit here, but look at all the vision that they've got on one move, right? Like, they're setting up for this Roche fight, saying we are not going to get initiated onto without us knowing about it.
It's about to spawn. So Roche is up. We'll see about whether or not these teams will put that emphasis back onto the Roshan. Seen it all throughout this series how important Roche has been. And as you said, with that top lane constantly pushing in, it has to be something in the back of your mind here for one move. They need to make sure that they do keep on top of it at all times, because if they don't, then as soon as somebody walks away from it and has to try and deal with it, that is go time for the side of Cyber Geese.
They're just playing chicken with each other right now. Like, no team is willing to go out there and commit their body, and the one that's going to win out is Cyber Goose, because again, that top lane is pushing. I think they just smoked as well while TA was hitting creeps, so if they were really on point, they would have seen the smoke animation come through.
Well,
They
they'll
do see
see a lot
Pangolier as
of
well.
the Beastmaster units. Oh, Chira
He
Jr.,
can
okay. No, it's used the roll up there. He's able to get away from that glimpse. So a lot of the vision game is starting to come back and forth between both of these two teams. The real question right now is how do you deal with these next couple of seconds. Roche is going to come out and try and have a fight going there. Call out grip. Gilgy goes up onto the high ground. Do they have the damage to kill him? Yes, they do. No Earthshaker now. Does have the buyback. He's going to use it now. Now, to be very, very careful about the creep wave in the top side of the map as well. Another beautiful
Nice
glimpse
timing.
brings them back in from Chira Jr. And so
got
he
the
doesn't
outnumber.
have the buyback. They have to be careful about the creeps in the base though, Matt. We've seen the problems throughout the entirety of this tournament with creeps being inside of bases, but they're going to quickly be able to deal with the Roshan, and this second Rosh is going to go the way here of one move.
Actually, not even mildly debating going for it with a TA nearby and then dropping the trap to be able to go for a steal. So that's a big win coming through for one move to be able to claim that. Obviously, great glimpse into the Static Storm there. It was a good initiation coming through as well, just off the back of staying alive with the Ghost Scepter. Even just the bait of the Earthshaker as well, but got to make sure that you're forcing, at the very least, these BKBs out from eyesight in these losing situations, because still 8 seconds, we're still able to just quickly burst down these heroes, and he's even been able to get away with going that Blink Dagger, sorry, the BK Basher, third time lucky, before the Nullifier as well. So a little bit more team fight effectiveness against the TA in particular.
Yeah, I think it's a big thing as well, right? Because sometimes you just get really lucky with daggers. Just throwing a dagger and just getting a lucky bash can be quite important for a lot of these different
Even just
fights.
onto the Pango.
Yeah, just being able to stop that Rolling Thunder. Just being able to make it so he doesn't get those extra couple of seconds. Everyone can start to reposition a little bit and get away from the Rolling Thunder, especially the fact that he has the Thunderbolt as well. So it is all important that he connects a lot earlier with a lot of this different stuff instead of, you know, not utilizing the entirety of the Thunderbolt roll because it is a lower duration. Taking that facet.
Love that from BB3, getting his Aghanim Shard. I mean, it just means that you can shove out these lanes a whole lot more effectively. You don't need to reveal yourself on the lane. You can, you know, force waves to start pushing in on their own. You can find people that are trying to hide away in the sidelines. If TA melds and you don't have a sentry for whatever reason, you can still catch her to prevent a blink away. All sorts of things. Really useful there. Has to be careful with where he's moving though. We'll be able to spot out a psionic trap as he walks forward to place that sentry ward. And now it's them moving out onto the map. So it's a pretty big win probability for Cyber Geese about 10 or so minutes ago, 67%, but that one's evened out in a big way. Basically back to 50-50 because it's been PA's been given enough time to be able to get into this game.
Yeah, I feel like PA is I would say, probably the scariest hero in the game as you get kind of late stage. Just because there's so many different things that you have to try and do to take her down, and she also does have that potential to one-shot.
Ooh. The salami misses.
Missed it. It was close, but thought it was just going to be, you know, fissure into the wild and see if he catches him out.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Most only matters in horseshoes, unfortunately for them, and well, they are going to be hitting onto their second tier 2 tower, so we'll actually give enough, assuming he gets the last hit, to be able to secure that nullifier for himself on eyesight. And well, with it being the second Roshan as well, they have the Roshan's banner at the moment being held on grip. They'll be able to even get a pick off onto solo, so does have the buyback, but hold on, problems as well.
Yeah, they just found
two
both the
buybacks.
supports.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, not having the Macropie to just kind of clear out this creep wave, this is probably going to... It looks like it's a lane of racks they're willing to give up. They don't want to fight into the Aegis, and it seems like Aegis is a no-fight item. They are going to try and put the pressure on this tier 3 tower, though. See if they can try and trade in the middle side of the map, but they're going to try and go for 2 lanes at the same time here for one move. Gilgiri is on the side. I don't know if they know that he doesn't have Echo. Notice BKB TP, BKB TP, BKB TP.
He's just waiting for it.
Right.
Okay.
And he's just gonna lose his life. Wanted to stay a little bit longer here as well. They do lose one lane of racks. Let's see if they can try and get the rotation back here onto the PA. They don't get her because she's inside of the shroud. Now looking towards Corrupted.
Maybe, maybe not.
You have to be very, very careful because not everybody has decided to come in and try and get this fight. A beautiful ice pump. They catch out the PA. And they get her done with that first life. She does have the big AP when she comes back out alive, though. You have to be very, very careful, and they will just disengage. So, they lose a lane of racks. They get a tier 3 tower and a lane of racks themselves as a response. I do hear an echo slam. What did he echo?
No, he didn't. He just
didn't
came back
echo
up.
anything. Okay. I'm just tripping. I'm actually just tripping. I legitimately heard it.
Might have been a shield crash.
Could have been.
They get that range racks. There's still creeps hitting in on this top side, so and with the glyph being used as well,
Big glimpse
offensively
back.
and defensively.
Let's be careful here if you're the side of one move, because there is quite a lot of creeps that are hitting inside of their base. So you don't want to lose this fight, or at least lose a member or two, and then just have Cyber Goose charge down a lane.
They would love to be able to catch, let's say, Disruptor first, especially now that he's just picked up that fresh gem. But the follow-up just isn't there. No
Yeah, they already
boys,
saw the
unfortunately.
problems Blink and Hexed a illusion.
I mean, they kind of have a situation of their own where bottom lane is pushing in. So, you know, you're going to need to defend that. It gives you a lot of information, knowing that Solo's not going to be there with his Guardian Greaves, with his Solar Crest. Really is on a knife's edge, this one. Win probability basically flipping from 15 minutes ago. From a 2-to-1 chance for Cyber Goose. Now moving over to one move, and late game PA, it'll do it to you.
Just such a dangerous hero. Feels like you can die very, very similar to Sven, right? You can kind of just die without being able to react.
Yep. Even like, I'd say Faceless Void is the only bigger late game hero. Like, sure, you're not going to die instantly, but you can just solo team fights essentially if positioning is, you know, not perfect. The old Exodia build for Faceless Void. Once you've got all 6 items, you just win the game basically.
Very hard to deal with a hero like that. Rest in peace to Carry Void. Haven't seen him in a
He'll be
long
back.
time.
TI is a few months away. He'll be back.
That's true. Do we hear another glimpse?
Hold on,
And
mid
it's going to
lane.
be on Solo in the mid lane here. Does get the Pavis to at least keep him a little alive a little longer, but that was all without the PA.
No buyback as well. Didn't buy back previously, but just ended up buying up that full Solar Crest, so still be dying here, and it's the 35-minute creep wave, so double siege. Be taking out this second lane of racks pretty well, and looks like they might be committing, or at least trying to force them back for a little bit of time.
Yeah, notice he's
take the
going to
bait.
walk up to the high ground here, but that's all big TP, so you need to be very, very careful. Brought TA 2000 here as well. Maybe try and make a rotation to see if they can catch up a few more of these stragglers, but you need to be very, very careful now if you are the Cyber Goose. They're just not able to finish off this the way this game was
It
going.
gives them a moment to breathe, though. That's the thing that they wanted. You know, they wanted to force that. Like, the question they should always be asking themselves is, all right, what do one move not want to be doing right now? And at this point in time, with how strong PA is, it's defending. You know, so you just got to force. Even if you run the risk of yourself dying, Beastmaster, I believe, at the time had enough money to be able to buy back. Now that he's bought the Blink Dagger for himself and has all of his other items available too, that's not going to be so much the case. But it's just giving them a bit of a reprieve, and I think Roshan will probably be up in next 30-40 seconds.
It'll be close. We have a look at the timer. Yeah, not very
I
long.
know it says 2:30, but he's
That's when he's guaranteed to
reliable
respawn.
anymore.
That's max spawn timer.
sure.
That's what that timer is. Yeah, it won't be long now. A couple of minutes. Minute or two.
So tense. So tense. Could really go either way still at this point. I mean, for all the good stuff that Tier 2000 was doing, and he's still keeping up in farm, we're just not really seeing his effectiveness in a lot of these team fights, right? Like, everyone just seems to be getting picked off one after the other after the other. So what they really need is just a solid initiation coming through. And now that Chira Jr. has got that nullifier for himself, that's really I think, what they're going to have. I mean, he would love to be level 20 as well, off the back of everything, just for an extra couple of seconds inside of that Rolling Thunder, to be able to, again, wipe out the supports, make it so that he's not at the end of the Rolling Thunder just getting glimpsed back into a Static Storm. But, well, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Roshan spawning soonish, maybe?
Yeah, very, very close to Roche now. I think only a couple of seconds, about 30 seconds. It's usually the way that it goes with a lot of these late game fights. It's all about execution. Sometimes it can be a little bit of luck as well, especially when you have these bashers that are rolling around. Hero like Templar, PA, just having a lot of the different crit mechanics. And, luck
even if they're really quick on the fingers as well, the outward starts to be able to stop you from getting, you know, a big meld hit onto you, like DP's got at this point in time. Can feel pretty nice. Also holding on to 37 armor, I believe, on DP, so plenty tanky. And we've even got the Lotus Sword that you were asking for, but it's Grip that's got it.
Such a fantastic Lotus Orb game, this game. Definitely would have been a bit egregious to not have one. Walking up here onto the higher ground, they did walk just around a Watcher for Cyber Geese. Their creep waves are just not in good positions. They have to be careful though, because Roche is just about to spawn. And the PA... Let's see Solo walk in. They're just going to see if they can instantly get it done. The PA Illusion doesn't see it, but they're just going to walk directly towards the pit. They know exactly what's going on here, and they've been able to clear it. They've been able to get the kill so fast that you can't even react
on the
here
ground.
for one move.
Gotta just TP problems. He doesn't have it. Uh-oh. He's praying.
He's praying
they don't walk in.
They do have a nice little radiant ward though, so they've been able to see a few. Oh,
Nice
what
Fisher.
Fisher! He gets over
Still
the
gets
top
the
of the
null.
low, and they've been able to deal with the disruptor. In the back line now goes on to Corrupted. We're looking to see what Eyesight is doing. Walking towards outside onto Notice. Notice just has to throw out the wall. Now, looking at TA2000. How much damage can he do? The Pyritic Cloak is able to actually take down Difference on the back side of the map, and that's the scariest part about this TA, is how much damage that she can do, and all the reflective damage as well. They've been able to take down one
TA's
core,
in,
but
though.
it's Eyesight though, who does the damage, does not have that BKB to try and play around with. Now it's TA2000, seeing if he can take down this PA. They haven't been able to get on top of him just yet. Corrupted is standing in the face of TA, and not enough damage now for TA2000, and he just has to run because Chiro Jr. is also low as well. BB's trying to see if he can get the glimpse, but they don't have the vision, and this is all off the back of Corrupted and Eyesight just being complete menaces in this team fight, and not much that you can do against them.
Yep. Buyback's starting to come out. Beastmaster's got his as well.
They lost
Love
to
to be
tier 4
able
though.
to just maintain it. Yeah, they lost to tier 4 and creeps still hitting onto the base, needing to make sure that they do TP back off the back of these super siege creeps coming through as well, which would have laid waste to their base. But Aegis claimed the one remnant, I think, of that team fight is the Roshan's banner. Everything else ended up being used up, I believe.
Yeah. And I think they're starting to look at it here. Corrupted is just unkillable, man. Like, there's just not enough damage here so far. Only 10 charges on the Deso as well for TA2000. He got a fast Desolator, man. And he has just not been able to crank up the charges just yet. And that's a big problem for him, considering he needs all of this extra bonus damage. He's had to go into... The only other damage item has been the MKB. And that's purely just to try and take down the PA. And even just looking at the side of, you know, Notice, he just got kind of separated in that fight as well. They weren't able to really kind of link together. You know, if they have the Raw on top of the TA just being able to do whatever she wants in those fights, then yes, you can definitely take down a PA or Corrupted. But without having that combination together, things are a little rough.
Yeah, so I'm really wondering, like, what other sorts of damage boosts can they really get, you know? Like, Beastmaster's not really functioning in a damage role. He's just there to raw people. Pangolier at this point is a support slayer, you know? And maybe you might be able to get a lucky shot onto someone as well to be able to reduce their armor a little bit. But beyond that, it really just needs to all be TA. So the fact that he's going dataless, good. I wonder if you need to change the Beastmaster Helm of the Overlord creep that you're getting to be something like an Alpha Wolf, for example, just so that you're able to actually have that little bit of extra damage output coming through. But I mean, the reason they need the Dragon is that 2 lanes are being pushed in. You know, they need that splash damage. They need the fireball onto the ground just so that they're not forced to defend in the middle of a lot of these team fights.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, you know, with the Dragonhide armor as well, like 3 armor, I mean, it's like, oh my god, 3 armor is taking literally no damage. But every tick of armor is actually very important in a lot of these fights. So
Radiant are scanning.
we'll see. We'll see if he does change it up or whether or not it's all about the big black dragon. All right, one
The old
move.
Red Eyes Black Dragon.
I do actually have my collection of 3 blue eyes to my left, ladies and gentlemen.
Huge.
I'll pull them out later. No, I won't.
Your grandfather's deck has no pathetic cards.
Corrupted has been one of the shining
No,
lights
yeah.
for one move.
Radiant's
What's on this
turret
courier?
has been killed.
Nothing, because it's dead.
He was
been
moving
the,
out to buy a Daedalus, though.
Or at least be in the position to. He's still got the buyback. Didn't end up spending all of the gold, and he's actually a little out of position when they're going for this push onto the tier 4s.
Yeah, they're going to pop the Exorcism as well. He's still going to commit to try and
gonna
buying
buy.
this Daedalus. So TA2000 is up at the secret shop, buys the Daedalus, doesn't have buyback on the TA, though.
Nope.
Have to keep that in mind for the next couple of minutes. No buyback for the TA. They're just going to stand forward here with Corrupted.
It's under attack.
And so they buy a bit of time, they lose a bit of life, but you can already see in the off screen, the big black dragon is making its way into the base and has done a lot of damage to that tier 4 tower. Shout out one time to my boy Noticed and the big black dragon. Did a little bit to it, but it's all about just forcing them back.
Yep. It does feel like we're just going to wait around for the next ages, doesn't it? Like, that's going to be the next big team fight that ends up happening. We are starting to get some of these tier 4 items, though, and I mean, Grip's just got the Dazoon Blood Right, so larger area of effect. Even the Timeless Enchantment for the debuff amp and the spell amp, so we haven't really seen that huge Echo Slam. You know, quite the opposite, actually, so far this game, but he does have the potential to really blow this game open if he lands the perfect one.
It's really been Echo Slams rather than Echo Slams, you know. Sometimes
Yeah.
you have those Earthshaker games, you
Echo
know.
Scam.
You're really feeling for those big echoes, and it isn't working out. Hearing
Chiro needs
the
to be a little
rumbling of the
careful here.
echoes.
God, he's so close to where they're playing. Very ballsy to walk up onto this area when he doesn't know if the Watcher was claimed or not at that point in time, and he's going to cut the wave, so again, just trying to delay that little bit longer. I think you've got Refresher now completed on the Beastmaster as well. So double Roar. Can they kill the PA? Eyesight still hasn't died at all this game.
Which is big in the grand scheme of things, because he has been, to the entirety of this 45 minutes, has been the big contender on the map.
Still getting back before being able to cut that next wave is Chira Jr. Shadow Blade coming through, alright. Suppose that can't get nullified off. Oh, look at BB3. He's looking to get an Observer Ward up over to the left-hand side. Get a little bit of extra info.
Oh my god.
Ooh, that was so fast.
That was the double melt hit coming in there from TA2000. He was just sitting up on the high ground. He said, thank you. 1, 2. Oh, the roar. Oh, he was close.
So close.
So close. That was a refresher. They force-staffed him forward and everything there from Noticed. But they set the trap and they said, hello, Corrupted. Bang, bang. And they get rid of the Death Prophet. How much damage did they do to that tier 3 tower with the Exorcism? Like 60 damage.
Not much. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
look at that.
3,300 damage in 1.5 seconds, basically.
Yeah, that's crazy. That is crazy.
And the tower hit him for 320 damage because of the double melt.
Yeah, so he's just sitting there, walks up. 1,
Bang,
2,
bang.
3. Wow. That was just walked into it. You could see that they were just perfectly set up for that, and they were all on the same page. And this is something that we talked about, I believe, over the last couple of days, is decisiveness, right? That was the decision they made. They're like, whoever walks up here, we're blowing them up. And they just blew him up. And it just meant that even if they, you know, for whatever reason they didn't get the kill there on the Death Prophet, that would have at least caused them to fall back. And I feel like a lot of times, even if it's a bad idea, as long as everybody's on board, it's much better than having no idea.
All right, it's gotten to the point of the game where buyback status is the big thing that we're looking at.
Yep.
And
Net
there's
worth doesn't
5
mean
seconds
anything
left
anymore.
until Roshan. Yeah, it doesn't mean much. I mean, you're 500 gold away from Aghanim Scepter on Disruptor, in addition to the Blink Dagger, and you know now as well a Shadow Blade. So just another form of initiation for Grip too. It's really scary, these next few team fights, how they could potentially turn out. It's a pretty longish Roche respawn as well, right?
Yeah.
I think it's going to be pretty
let me
similar
show
to
it.
the last one. Maybe
Yeah,
2 minutes away.
it's pretty similar. It's probably about 20 seconds off max. It's about 2 minutes. Just over half.
Shiro Jr. again, hanging around. He's got the sure. Just ends up blinking away in time. Not through luck, I don't think, but would have seen the Shadow Blade come through from grip. Just trying to bait at this point, but
Dire are scattered.
whew. Everyone's basically just not even showing on the map. Just go in for half a second, or when you do, have it be someone like Corrupted, who, yes, he just died in 1.5 seconds, but you're probably not going to be melded here on the map, you know?
Yeah, I think a lot of that was the double meld hit. Where
yeah.
it's just such a massive amount of burst damage. And then all it takes is a lucky shot as well. It's coming from Shiro Jr. and it's like you've got negative like 30 something armor. Probably more. So he's gone for the refraction charges here to level 25 for the TA. Just trying to have that extra bit of
27.
safety.
Holy. Wait, no more with the Deso. Negative 33 armor off the back of that.
Yeah. That's not including the AC aura,
AC.
the lucky
Yep.
shot. Yeah. It's a lot.
Pretty deadly.
Yeah. It is quite
This
a lot.
Observer Ward is still... Actually, it doesn't actually see the inside of the base. Although it is slightly out of range of the Sentry Ward that's just on the high ground next to Problems. So... Yeah, I know. It's hard for me to click it as well, Observer. I tried.
All right. Smoke up now from one move. Roche will be up relatively soon. Do you have anything in the area? We have a TA trap that's kind of close towards the pit. That's about it. But it being daytime, you have to be very, very careful. The PA illusions probably will see Roche be respawned. Be mindful of these creep waves, though. The Big Black Dragon is doing his scout mission towards the top side of the map.
BB.
Oh, BKB
that's an
into
early.
the backline. Corrupted goes in. BKB get popped here by Notice. Have to be very, very careful. He
He
does
may
have
as
two
well
full
ward.
no. Has the refresher of Chiro Jr. Oh, he's stuck on the high
no.
ground. Chiro Jr.
He's doing doughies.
He wants to try and
He's
work
stuck
around.
again.
Gets into the crystals. He's very, very low. He's able to go there with the roll-up, though. Eighth of Remnant comes in. Blown up
no.
goes the Pangolier. He's going to have to buy back here in this fight as well. Looking towards the top
They
side
found
of the
TA.
map. The
That's an
forbidden
axe.
hot dog comes down. It doesn't do much, but it's all about this next fight here for TA. Big roll comes down here from Notice. He's going to try and go in on the
found
bag.
PA.
Blown up. See you later. Goes eyesight and Corrupted as well. No buyback for these heroes on the side of one move, and the creeps are up inside of the base as well. We are looking to see that it has finally taken 51 minutes for this game to look like it could be over, and they are looking to try and take down the next one. The DP away is not there in time. They get the damage, and they are walking to the base of one move.
Pippi's just trying to kill all these creeps and nearly dying himself. They're going to have time to be able to take out this Roshan, and I'll see what they can do to that high ground as well. But what the hell just happened, man? There was so much damage being able to output from the TA, but disaster after disaster for Shiro Jr. Luckily enough, he had the buyback, but it was a perfect draw coming through from Noticed, holding that refresher orb until the very last second, getting the double roar onto him. I actually think it was a bit of a misplay coming through from BB3 there. He ended up glimpsing the TA back outside of his kinetic field ag static storm, and meant that he was actually able to get involved in the fight.
Yeah, I mean, just looking back at the fight recap, TA did almost 10,000 damage. PA did not even 600. So
She just got enough for buyback on PA, by the way.
30 seconds. And the PA will have to buy back. You probably let this next lane of racks go. If you can hold on this buyback for PA, this is huge. It's about whether or not you can lose these next couple of lanes of racks, or about whether or not they're going to try and go for the T4s. This is what they're going to do. Problems drops in the double snakes. So now there's so many of these Serpent Wards as well. 8 seconds, you don't want to buy back right now. They're going to be able to hold it off now with the glyph, but it's all about the damage they can get done. Walk forward here with the Ag Static Storm, going in onto Notice though. Now with the PA coming back in. The Forbidden Hot Dog goes down towards the fountain, and it's just the Ancient that dies. There's nothing that you're able to do there, and if you are the PA right now, it is head in hands kind of stuff. They were...